we're back.
We're back.
January 20th, 2021.
Inauguration Day.
Yes. Here at PolymerCityRecords.com. The Polymer City Records, excuse me, I'm all thrown off now.
PolymerCityRecords.com.
I'm all hyped up on sugar and everything right now. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
Baseball Bob filling in for Chris today because we do still have some football to talk about, which we will get to. 4 teams left, 2 games. We will talk about it in a sec. But this is 10 Cent Beer Night, the sports show at PolymerCityRecords.com. And thanks for joining us tonight every Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So thank you guys. Real quick, we're going to touch up and congratulate Kevin Stefanski on a fantastic first season as the Cleveland Browns head coach.
Definitely should be NFL Coach of the Year.
If he doesn't, there's a lot to question. I can't think of anybody else. I did say in the middle of the season, Mike Tomlin was an option. Well, they lost 6 of their last 5 games at the end. His name's kind of fallen off of there. Brian Flores of Miami, but they didn't make the playoffs. You just break down these coaches and what's even left right now. I mean, there is a case for McDermott with the Bills, but we saw the Bills were building the past couple of years.
Right.
They were starting to be a threat. Stefanski stepped in and set records all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, but wasn't Buffalo's coach there a year or two?
This is like his 4th year.
He's been here Stefanski's first year.
Exactly. My point being, but
I mean, make 11-5.
12-6 total.
12-6 total.
And just a touchdown away from moving on to the AFC Championship game. A couple final thoughts I wanted to give about that game, too. First of all, again, they played real well. I think Baker Mayfield showed he is our guy for a long time coming. I'm going to say something. The only thing that bothered me, it came from the fans, like a lot of things do, when it comes to the Browns. This is not the same thing as the fumble in the drive. And they're trying to make it that way because of the Rashard Higgins play and whatnot.
The helmet to helmet, you mean?
Right. There was a missed call. However, Stefanski was more mad how he put the ball out there like he did. They're coached not to do that. He was very disappointed in that. At the same time, here's the thing I want to ask you fans. If Mahomes doesn't get hurt, they don't lose just by 6. Mahomes was on a tear against that defense.
Well, I think our Browns secretary, that's where we need to work at.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of these guys, these passes. I mean, they went down catching balls. There ain't nobody near them.
Right. Correct. I will say some people may be wondering if it's the defensive coordinator. Joe Woods did a good job with what he had. He taught them how to better turn over the ball, which we've never seen a defensive coordinator do. And even back in 2007 when they went 10-6. The defense was.
Is that the year they didn't make the playoffs?
Right, correct. The defense was iffy, but they didn't get turnovers like this defense did. I wrote a little blog the other day about what their needs are going into the year. And the first 4 positions are all defense, because that's what it comes down to.
Well, I think their first pick will be a defensive player.
Oh, I think so too. This is a very defensive oriented draft. There's a lot of great wide receivers and running backs too, and some great quarterbacks. If the Browns don't need one, but just for quarterback need teams that might want one. They should be able, as long as they scout properly, like it looks like Andrew Berry and Stefanski do, they should be able to fill all their needs. The thing I don't want to see them do, and they won't, I would be shocked if they did, was back in 2007, when Phil Savage was in charge. They go 10-6. They want to take the next step to make the playoffs. Okay, right. So what does he do? He trades the first pick he traded the first pick to trade it for Brady Quinn. Did not work out. He traded the 2nd round pick for Corey Williams. He didn't pan out in a 3-4 defense. When he moved back to the 4-3 in Detroit, he looked better, but he wasn't worth trading a 2nd round pick for. He trades Lee Bodden and a 3rd round pick for Sean Rogers, defensive tackle of the Lions. Sean Rogers did go and have a Pro Bowl season the next year with the Browns. The following year, after that, his career was about done. He wasn't the same player. They gave up too much. They traded away a chance to build with youth and fill their needs. Instead, they filled their needs with the wrong players. And that's what the Browns need to avoid doing. I trust Barry and Stefanski not to do that, but that's the one thing, just because of our history with it, they need to just avoid. It's going to be an interesting free agent period and draft period for them. Again, Baker Mayfield made the comment today. He met with Stefanski for a postseason just meeting, and Baker said it felt good to know I won't have to learn a whole new offense again.
Right.
So they're going.
Well, Baker had a great year.
He did, and I think he is the Browns guy.
And this is coming from a guy that really was not a Baker Mayfield fan. I watched him grow.
Right.
He can run the ball, he can pass the ball, not tall.
No.
But at first I was really skeptic about Baker Mayfield.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, I finally we can honestly say, wait till next year. Meaning, yes, this is a team that's going to be there for you.
Right. And well, I understand to fans that this was a special year, but this was not a fluke by any means. They just, put it this way, most of the puzzle is filled. There's a couple pieces still left before they could become Super Bowl champs. But can we talk this offseason about what we need to do to be a Super Bowl threat? Yes. I do believe that they proved they could go to the playoffs. They proved they could win in the playoffs. So now it's time to take that next step. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be a target on their back from the other teams. Especially our division is going to be one of the toughest divisions for a while too. That's the other thing going into.
You know what?
Like,
you got a really weak. I wouldn't say a weak team down there. It's with Cincinnati.
No,
but because
offensively they're good.
Offensively they're good. They can fill a couple defensive pieces in there. Dalton's a good.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. I'm thinking about the old quarterback.
Right.
Joe Burrow's, he's the future down there.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was in there, they didn't lose. They lost a lot of games, yes, but they didn't lose by much.
Right.
They was in a lot of games.
The Cincinnati needs a lot of defense, and they need to get that running game back in order to get to where they want to be. The passing game's there. I've heard the rumors. Me and Chris talked about this last week on here about the 5th overall pick for the Cincinnati has potentially being another wide receiver. If you're Cincinnati in that position, that's probably not a bad idea. I know you need O-line too. That's how Burrow got hurt. But you're sitting there and you have potentially the first same wide receivers. You have 2 potential star wide receivers in there. If you take one with what you already have, that's dangerous. Right. You can't deny that opportunity. So I don't blame them there. Right. But no, Cincinnati cannot be looked at as a joke right now. But they need to.
They're going to be in the games.
They are.
Yeah, like I said, I think they need some help in the defense.
Yeah.
Their offense ain't bad.
Right.
They moved the ball on some good teams.
Right. Burrow's the real deal.
He's a real deal.
They got a great quarterback there in him. What's going to be interesting is I think this is going to be the first offseason. Most of the Browns' moves will be in the draft. I'm not saying they're not going to do anything in free agency because they're going to look for the veterans, maybe even short-term contracts to come in, fill that D-line linebacker or defensive backs. They all 3 need a little brushed up. The other thing I'm going to be looking for is we have Odell Beckham Jr. He's rehabbing right now. You have Jarvis Landry. Kadero Hodge and Donovan Peoples-Jones are solid wide receivers. Tight end's pretty much figured out right now, The big question is that third receiver, okay? Rashard Higgins, he was in talks for a contract extension. He did not play well the past few weeks, including diving in with that ball out like that and him being a veteran and doing that. That was probably very unimpressive to the front office. You got star wide receivers all over the place in free agency. The Browns pulled the trigger
when he
and
did
bring in another
reach
star.
that ball out there. He was personally, he was trying to get the ball over the plane. He was hoping to get that ball over the plane before he went down.
Right.
And I understand, but that hit was not called either. That hit should have been called.
It should have.
I don't understand why helmets aren't reviewable.
That's a very good question.
Why aren't they reviewable? And I was watching the game, and I don't watch very many football games. I'll be honest with you.
But this was special.
This is a special game. It was in the playoffs first time since 90. First time since 94.
The second round, at least.
Yeah, second round. And it's been a long time, being a Browns fan. But when the announcer in the booth said, it's not a reviewable play.
You were confused.
I was confused. I thought it would be. You know, because you're going to throw somebody out.
Right.
I mean, I don't get it. But I can understand him trying to reach over the plane for the touchdown. But if he didn't make it, if he kept it in there, yes, they'd been on about the 2-yard line.
Right.
You know.
I think what's going to happen going forward is this play is going to be talked about in the NFL during the offseason, like other questionable no-call playoff plays have been made in the past, mostly against the Saints, but this time it was against the Browns. They're going to talk about it. If it was college football, he would have been ejected.
Oh yeah, I think so.
They would have had the targeting call, and they would have gave him the penalty, and then that would have been the end of that one. But
now, do you think defensive side? You think Garrett was playing 100%? I mean, he played 100%.
Yeah,
but
the COVID thing bothered him, and he needs time to recover. And
I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
he's walking off the field, heavy breathing.
Right.
You know, I mean,
it affects everybody different. You know, one guy.
They say when he goes to the sideline, he always goes to the oxygen. He always gets oxygen.
Yeah. It's going to be different. The one guy I'm going to be watching for when we talk baseball is Yoan Moncada of the Chicago White Sox, because he was very similar. He got it. He came back and he said, everything in my body is off. He said, I'm tired more. I'm weaker than I was. He said the breathing was an issue, and it affected his gameplay. Like, he did not have the season people thought because he had COVID. He got back from it, and he just wasn't the same player. And in baseball, if you sit out even the slightest bit, that's going to back up your season a little bit. You know what I mean? But Miles did what he could.
Miles did great.
Right.
You can just tell after every play and stuff that he was hurting. I mean, he was hobbling. He was heavy breathing.
And I think he felt pressure too, because in the way of, he's the big leader in the defense.
And I loved it when he made the sack. He did get a sack. It wasn't Mahomes. It was the other.
It was Henny.
Henny. And then he didn't do too bad of a job.
He's been playing since 2007 draft. He's been here for a while, and
he's a good veteran backup.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's what kills me. Is you look back at that drafted, the contract Marcus Russell got, the contract Brady Quinn got. Chad Henne had a better career than all of them. Like, that's what Johnny Manziel decided to open his mouth about the Browns losing.
I hear that on the tweet. What was that about?
He's just making fun of them, and it's like, look, you couldn't take the Browns anywhere, and Chad Henne had a better career than you, so shut up. You know what I mean? That's.
I read something today on Facebook. I didn't read it. I just seen it on the post going down the line that Manziel said something, and it upset a lot of people. And I should have read it, I guess.
Right.
But
well, let's
Manziel, you're a loser.
Yeah, let's shift gears real quick. A hot take I have about the past few Browns. Now we have better players. We're going forward positive. They just need to touch up the defense, get some good depth at offense. So if something goes wrong, somebody gets hurt, somebody goes down, we can pick it back up. They know what they need to do. We have a great front office with Andrew Berry in there. We have a great coach with Kevin Stefanski. All we ask is Jimmy Haslam, you put your hands up and you sit down and you enjoy.
That's what happened this year.
Yep.
I don't think Jimmy was involved in much of anything. Of course, it was great to see him go. He was in the press box,
right? Rightfully so,
and be with the team. He came down the field with the team. I understand he even addressed the team, talked to him and stuff, but he stayed out of it, and that's what made him better.
Right.
So I don't know. As a Browns fan, I could personally say wait till next year and be sincere about it.
Right, correct. And again, we were not ready, Super Bowl ready this year. No. We were a great team. We're almost there, but we were not. So I can't say this was a cursed game. It continued because it was the anniversary of the fumble. Don't give me that. We were not ready. If we pulled this game off, Buffalo would have been tough.
You got to admit that. We wonder our luck.
Right. Yeah. But this was one we weren't supposed to win, and they played great overall. Setting aside Mahomes' injury, they also, the credit you have to give defense, they forced 3 field goals over a team that gets in the end zone all the time. That's a win within itself. There is time for improvement. We'll know in March when free agency kicks off what the Browns will plan on doing. Until then, we will enjoy what we have because we got no choice now. And then later we're going to talk about who's going to the Super Bowl, who we think is going there. But to shift gears real quick, you brought up the Manziel thing, and I wanted to bring up something.
What did he say?
He didn't really say anything. He just showed pictures of like laughing and mocking and stuff, and gifs is what they call
Well,
them.
we laughed and mocked him.
Right, But here's a hot take I have. Earlier this week, okay, not this week, but the week before the Browns playoff game, former wide receiver Josh Gordon got suspended for good. He is not allowed back in the NFL after failing another test.
When was this?
This was about, it may have been a week ago today. He did. He got suspended for good. If people don't know the story, Josh Gordon, he played for the Browns. He picked him up in the second round of the supplemental draft back in 2013, I think it was. They got him, and he just had on and off field issues. Like, very talented wide receiver. He kept failing drug tests, kept getting suspended to the point the Browns eventually traded him to the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick couldn't deal with him anymore. He got cut. He saw a stint with the Seahawks. He failed another drug test in the offseason. When he was about to come back, Seahawks brought him in. He shows up to Seahawks practice in week 15, week 16, somewhere near the end. They looked at him and said, go get tested. Because he just did not come back looking sober. And they said, you failed another test.
What a waste of talent.
You failed another test. And we're going to cut you. You cannot be here, So here's my question. And for the record, Josh Gordon had a season back. I think it was 2014. Rob Trynsinski was the head coach of the Browns. Terrible offense, for the record, okay? You had decent at best Trent Richardson. You had rookie Brandon Weeden. Again, Weeden didn't have a great career. Josh Gordon gets 1,600 yards and like at least a dozen or 14 touchdowns, however it was. It may have been even 16. I can't remember. He had a season for the record books, okay? He was 6'2". He had the speed. He had the hands. He had the power. Am I wrong to say, okay, real quick, I need your opinion, Bob. I know you're baseball, Bob. You're not football, Bob, but I need your opinion here. Had he got him and Manziel, I'm throwing Manziel in this too, because they were a pair at a time. If they had their head out of their ass and worked as hard as Baker Mayfield and his receivers do, is it fair to say Josh Gordon would have been Hall of Fame material?
He definitely would have been but he didn't have, his head wasn't screwed on.
And would it be fair to say Johnny Manziel would have been Pat Mahomes before Pat Mahomes?
That I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say that?
I would say, Gordon I would, but I wouldn't say that about Manziel.
You didn't think so?
No.
The reason I've come up with the Manziel, with Gordon, he had one season to prove that he can do what they think he can do, and then fell off the edge a bit. The Hugh Jackson, when he came in, he was hoping Gordon would turn it around again, and it didn't happen.
I mean, I think Manziel could have been a good quarterback in the NFL.
The reason I say Mahomes before Mahomes is Pat Mahomes drafted by John Dorsey. Baker Mayfield drafted by John Dorsey. John Dorsey liked the there's a third word, not just the scramblers, because they're not just runners, but the
well, I didn't think Mayfield was a scrambler or runner either until I watched him go for some first downs.
But they're a little shorter, but they have the arm. Improvisers, what I'm looking for. The improvisers, they have the arm, they can keep the play going, and they have the good vision. All right, before the Browns trade up to get Manziel, the reason they trade up to get Manziel was because John Dorsey and the Chiefs were reported Johnny's falling to them. They're going to take Johnny Manziel because Alex Smith was the starter. They were going to have Alex Smith groom him, and Manziel just fit the profile Dorsey wanted. So I'm thinking if Dorsey saw this, now Dorsey, he knew he wasn't the best player evaluator, but he could see star talent. He could.
Well, Dorsey knew talent.
Right.
I mean, he can spot talent.
Right. And for people that don't know, Dorsey's expected to be promoted GM by the Philadelphia Eagles. It hasn't happened yet. He's right now a consultant, but expect him to have a role in that. And that's why he's still in the league. If that would have happened, of course, they would have been. Andy Reid, one of the best coaches there ever been. He would not have let certain things slide. That Pettin and all. Not that Pettin let certain things slide necessarily, but they instead of them saying, "Okay, it's okay, we'll work it out," Reed would have been more of a hard ass, old school about it. He would have been like, "No, you're on my team. You show up at this time. You show up sober. You're done partying at this time. You're not going to do this. You're not going to, you know what I mean?" He would have just laid down the law right there. Had they taken Johnny in instead of Pat Mahomes, would he have panned out? And I think that's the question. If Johnny even if Johnny's with the Browns and he puts in the work like a normal quarterback, does he look similar to Mahomes or Mayfield type? I think that's the question I'm asking.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But again, we will never know. That's what it comes down to. But we've moved on. We found Baker Mayfield. I know the media likes to twist news and headlines and whatnot, and them coming out and saying the Browns trust Baker. They're just not coming in long term. Here's what's going to happen. This is what wasn't said, but what was meant to be said. Okay, Baker's was a first round pick, first overall. All right, him and Denzel Ward, who were picked in the same draft, they have a 5th-year option. All right, the 5th-year option is going to be picked up, which means the next 2 years they're under contract.
Right.
Then they'll talk about the extension. Okay, that's all that means. They weren't. People are expecting, well, his contract's up next year. Technically, no. Once they accept the team option, then he will be there, and then they have more time to talk about an extension there. I think they want to give him another year. How does he follow up this year? But he is the guy going forward. It's the one move I will tell you going into the offseason they're going to make. Expect this around the time free agency begins. Chubb is in his contract year next year. There'll be an extension.
They'll be
extended. Yeah. They will pay him well. He'll be.
Now, do we have anybody that's free agents?
Rashard Higgins technically is.
Yeah, Higgins is.
Nobody on the line. Nobody on the offensive line is a free agent. None of our running backs are free agent. Maybe one of like the 4th string or whatever.
I mean, of the starters, I don't think we have anybody that's going to be.
Ogunbowale is.
I did hear that.
It is interesting. Which, fun fact, him and Joe Botonio are the only guys left from the Ray Farmer era, so they've stayed that long. But Botonio's under contract.
You know what? I would have loved to see Joe Thomas go one more year.
I would too. I just don't think he's gonna. I don't think his body's gonna.
No. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because he retired.
Right.
And this would have been the year that he would have maybe got a chance to go all the way.
Right.
He's been on he was on an 0-16 team and a 1-15 team, and of course a future Hall of Famer.
He saw one winning season. That was his rookie year. The other 10 years of his career, he didn't see a winning season.
Yeah.
He never saw the playoffs.
If he would have stayed one more year in the NFL, this could have been the year. I mean, he would at least had that chance.
Right.
Because he never got the chance.
Right.
I'd love to see it. I heard an interview the other day. He was talking in an interview with Josh Cribbs on their television morning show.
Yeah, Josh Cribbs.
And he was so excited. He even said the fact. He says, if I had it in me for one more year, but I just didn't. That's what he said.
Right. And Cribbs could probably say the same thing there, and Andrew Hawkins too. I'm very impressed that Joe still lives in Cleveland, still loves everything about it. Just a trooper. Even these coaches that we just badmouth, like Pettin, Judd, Hugh, he has nothing but the nicest things to say about those guys. He loved those guys. Yep. He loved Freddie too, and he barely dealt with Freddie. He didn't have him as a head coach, but Freddie was on the team when Hugh was. You know what I mean? And the Browns are just in a very fortunate position right now. They have what people feel is the best running back and offensive line coach in the league right now.
He did a great job.
They did. The O coordinator, Pelt, did a great job with Baker. It's all worked out very, very well there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2 months. But before we get to that, you're baseball Bob. Right. In 2 weeks, we're talking spring training for the Cleveland Indians. And we know this offseason has not gone what they thought it was. It's not over. We did see some moves.
Pitchers and catchers report on the 13th of February.
Yeah, so about 3 weeks then.
3 weeks.
So
yeah.
I said 2, but it's more 3.
Pitchers and catchers, and then the full squad is on the 16th.
On the 16th there. So that it's going to be just something to look forward to there. I did see the big headlines.
And they are going to start on time.
Right.
They are going to play a full schedule, 162 games. As to start, there will be a limited number of people in the stands. It's going to be health department rules.
Right.
So like the other day in Kansas City, what they had 12,000, 13,000 in the stands in Kansas City when the Browns were playing them.
Right.
It's up to, of course, we was allowed 1,200, 13,
Right.
whatever it was in Browns. It's going to be up to the departments, the health departments of those cities and the town, states.
And I will tell people we got to get COVID political here, just to understand like what they're going into in the future. The rumor is, again, this is not written in stone. This is just hearsay between politicians and whatnot. Is they're aiming for the 1 year mark in March from when the pandemic started to lift social distancing. There is a rumor they want to keep masks up until around June, which would have been the 1 year mark they put masks in.
But I think they want to try to get at least half the American people vaccines.
Right.
Before they really do anything. I mean, I want to get to the ball game.
Right.
I want to go to the game.
And Dr. Fauci, even though he's contradicted himself on many subjects, he did say expect full attendance for big sport events and concerts starting in the fall. So you kind of got a map that things are turning for the better. But as far as baseball goes, I don't know if they'll do full right away, but they'll do at least half. I could see that.
Well, yesterday,
my prediction.
Yesterday was the lowest outbreak in the state of Ohio since May or whatever it was. The lowest outbreak, 6,000 cases reported. So it's hopefully it's going away.
Yeah, I hope so too for everybody, And we just bring it up because it does impact whether we go to the games or not. You know what I mean?
Well, we missed the football season.
Right.
Of course, Akron. Speaking of Akron U, they did announce their schedule for next year. It's on their website, and I didn't write it down. They open with Auburn, and the fourth game of the season is Ohio State.
Auburn and Ohio State. Akron.
You get a chance, check the schedule later.
Auburn and Ohio State. You're going hard on there.
My zips.
You're going. You win one game, and you're going to take on Auburn and Ohio State.
You're taking out about $3 million. Okay.
Yeah, I love you, Akron. Hey, give them your best shot. That's all I gotta say. You know what I mean?
Us being season ticket holders, we did not get to go to a game this year.
Right.
Not one game. The basketball's going on right now, and they're having a pretty decent season.
They're getting better.
I watched the game last night on ESPN 3. Mm-hmm. Nobody in the stands down in Bowling Green.
No, you can't.
And it's got to be hard for the kids too. They want to play in front of their families, their friends, the fans. They want to play in front of these kids. That motivates these kids.
Right.
And so we got to get this situated and get fans in the stands for these kids and stuff like that.
All right, great. And we want to do it safely. We don't want anybody to get hurt.
I mean, we cancel the whole G League. The whole G League is going to a bubble.
Orlando, yep.
Is going to Orlando. The whole G League, all 30 teams, is going to the G League. They're going down to Orlando to play a 16-game schedule.
Right.
So, and of course, I'm season ticket holder with the Charge too. So,
yeah, there you go. Real quick, I want to touch up. We have spring training coming around the corner. Still a couple of weeks for some free moves. I do know right now, the Toronto Blue Jays are baking the big headlines after signing Kirby Yates and George Springer this past week.
And they did sign. Where you at here? Tyler Chetwood from the Cubs.
From the Cubs there, and they are talking Trevor Bauer there.
They are right now the lead contender for Bauer.
And that's interesting. And I did hear another rumor came up within the hour that after the George Springer signing that Mark Shapiro is targeting his former outfielder Michael Brantley to join Shapiro in that. Let's talk about our Indians real quick.
I think Brantley, it would be too high of a price tag for the Indians.
I think so.
I think so too. We have a lot of young talent,
right?
But right now we only got a $32 million payroll. That's all we got.
Right.
And but we got some talent. We got that kid from the Mets,
Gutierrez,
and
Ramos.
Ramos. We got those two guys. Julio is going to come in and start. Ramos is going to start at second base.
Ramos is going to be second. Is that for sure?
Yeah.
Well, because that's what I was going to ask you. When we break down this roster, okay, Perez has catcher. We got that.
We know that's a fact.
Josh Naylor most likely will have first base, is what they're saying. Jose's at third. Gutierrez, pretty much a lot.
Now, you know, Jose's on a talk, is rumor talk of trade.
Right now, though,
he ain't going nowhere.
He's not going anywhere. He's under contract for a couple years, and the team actually said, no, we're committed to him long term and have shut down. I know they're the Indians, but they've said for the past couple years, we like Jose and we're committed to keeping him here.
And I think you're going to see Cesar Hernandez signing again.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
I think you're second,
because Ramos sounds like he's a good option off the bench. A lot of Mets felt his how should I say, his contribution, his production slipped. Caesar played really well last year. If there was an All-Star game, he would have been All-Star second base.
From what the websites and webs are talking about, the Indians are still talking with Caesar, trying to make a deal with him to come back. So let's hope and pray. I like to see him back.
Yeah.
Because he was probably one of the most consistent guys we had.
He was a great player. I've been a fan of him for years.
And he can play first.
Caesar?
Yeah.
I'll put him at second.
No,
put Ramos. Here's how I see it. If
you look at his stats, he started out as a first baseman.
I believe it, but he's a Gold Glove second baseman. How are you gonna deny that? Like, here's how I look at it. Okay, if they can bring back Caesar who
would you go to first base?
Josh Naylor. Here's the resource. Let me break it down for you real quick. Okay, Naylor is first in outfield. He's a big guy. He's got big power. Like a lot of first basemen when you're watching first baseman, he's too slow in the outfield. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's definitely slow.
Coming out, Nolan Jones is moving to the outfield. He said they gave him the option of first in outfield. He's been working hard at outfield. He'll probably be left field. Center fielder is going to be either Mercado or Zimmer at this point. Right fielder, Daniel Jones is looking like. They are talking about another outfield option just in case, because some of these guys are young. It might take a while for them to learn the ropes a bit, but then you have Gutierrez at short we're talking about. I like Ramos on the bench. You know, bring him out and make, because they always have two utility infield guys.
Well, you know, that's what I was Gutierrez at short. That's what you meant.
Yeah.
That's what I was meaning.
Yeah. But
at shortstop, not second.
Am I too far fetched to say, along with Ramos on that bench, maybe bring in Jason Kipnis back?
I can see it.
You know that
he hasn't signed it with anybody yet.
Exactly, him or Asdrubal Cabrera, like that.
We losing, Frankie, a crowd pleaser. Kipnis was a crowd pleaser, and I think the Cleveland fans, they'd still be a little upset because Lindor's gone, but I think they would feel more comfortable with Kipnis here.
Right.
I mean, they'd feel more. At least you bring in somebody we like back.
Exactly.
Of course, you got Jose,
Right. Well, that's our position right now with the pitching.
But as pitching, we're loaded.
At least on start. But bullpen's solid. It's not as people aren't giving it the bullpen enough. I mean, they're just younger.
Our starting, we'll say starting four is probably the best in baseball.
Yeah, you got Bieber, you got McKenzie, you got Savelli,
and
Plesac, and then the other, it might be Quantrill, who is similar to Plesac. That was an option. I know that they're looking at probably Espino.
Was it Cavelli?
Savelli's one of I brought up Savelli.
Yeah, but he was mentioned the other day in a trade talk.
I'm sure there's been talk, but again, how young he is and how cheap his contract is, you know what I mean, compared to other contracts. I mean, I don't see him going anywhere unless they can bring in some stars.
But I'm telling you, we're so loaded in the minor league. That's what everybody wants.
I know.
We got the best pitching prospects in all of baseball in our minor league system.
Right.
We knew how to go out and get pitchers.
Exactly. Now my question for you now is, who's our closer? Is it Karinchak? Or is it Clace, who we traded for Corey Kluber for, and he got dinged with steroids or whatever, PEDs, I should say.
I don't. That's gonna be a hard decision for Tico, Francona.
Francona, you know what I mean.
Terry,
there's still a lot to look forward to.
I'm saying Terry's dad's name, Tico.
Yeah. Well, he goes by Tito at times. Yeah. I think what we're looking for as an early prediction with this Indians team, the pitching's going to be up there. It's going to keep us in games. The hitting's going to struggle a little bit, similar to I think I hopefully think we could do a little bit better than next year with if they start younger guys that really want to strive and follow through and be part of the team. Then you're going to see a little more hustle in the hitting. But
Yes,
it's
yeah, we're the Indians are rebuilding.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're not rebuilding from
fully.
scratch.
Yeah, this isn't 2003 all over again.
Yeah,
or whatever
they're not building
it was,
from
yeah.
scratch. Yes, they're building they're putting pieces into the
Right.
puzzle.
And don't forget Friendmill Reyes too, as far as the hitting goes. That guy.
But there's
could
even talking
potentially-
about Prague or Prug or whatever his name was. Remember we had him?
Oh,
2 years
Yasiel
ago?
Puig. Yeah.
They're even talking about bringing him back.
I'm not against it.
He
It's
hits
for the
he
right
can
price.
hit.
For the right price. You know what
well,
I mean?
you know he's going to be cheap.
Because
you know,
he sat out. Yeah.
He's that out of season. You know.
I mean, they always give some guys a second chance. You know, Carlos Gonzalez.
I did
a
hear
few years ago.
they did talk with him, but nothing came out of it.
They're just. I mean, they looked at Kluber too, and he signed with the Yankees.
for 1 year, $11 million.
And that's a risk within itself too. That's
Well,
I wish him the best.
He
I
pitched
do.
what 1 inning last? one inning last.
A third of
Yeah,
an inning. I don't
yeah.
think if he finished. I don't
I
think
didn't
he
think he
finished
finished
the
the
inning.
inning. Of course,
It was
you know.
it was bad.
But you start wondering, every guy that big names that we got rid of, they end up getting hurt, or they miss half a season or whatever. They know something in the front offices that the fans don't know.
I've wondered that too, and
I mean, because Kluber, he didn't do great in the playoffs. He wasn't a great in the playoff system. Of course, the season he wins the Cy Young, he didn't win a game in a playoff.
right.
But
I think he won 1 in 16. When
he ended up
went to
getting
the World
traded
Series.
to Texas, and he hasn't been the same since.
Right. Right.
Did we know something?
I think everybody did. I know when Texas made that trade, they traded a top 10 prospect of theirs and Delino DeShields for him. They said the other offers were all single A players because teams were afraid to touch him at a point. That's why Kluber had that show that pitching what do they call it when the pitcher goes out there and puts on a display for them.
A showcase.
A showcase, yeah. He put on a showcase and showed the Indians were there in attendance too. That he is still relevant. He could still play, and that's when the Yankees took a chance on him. Then right after that, so
And the Yankees got $11 million.
yeah,
for
just
1
the
year.
burn, yeah.
And it's a guarantee.
Right,
So he's gonna get $11 million. He goes out there and pitches 2/3 of an inning and done.
yeah.
So
They can afford it. They're fine. but
and then let's speaking of some baseball. Jarrett Porter. You know that name?
sounds a little familiar.
Made a big deal getting Lindor. He was a general manager for the Mets.
I think I remember where this is going.
Of course, he gets fired by the Mets because of something happened in 2016
You're right.
when he's derogatory text
He
to
said
a female reporter.
exactly.
So they fired he when he was with the Cubs. He was with the Cubs.
When he was with the
organization.
Cubs.
And so the Mets made a big statement. It was MLB.com had this statement.
I did read that story yesterday.
So
I just couldn't remember the name. But I was just like,
Jarrett Porter.
why would you?
And he was the one that was instrumental in the Lindor deal.
Yeah.
So he ain't gonna get to see the fruit of his.
Well, he will, just not inside there, I will tell you, the one guy I appreciate, Josh Wolf, the starting pitcher that got out of that deal, he's embracing being in Cleveland. He was cheering for the Browns.
He was cheering for the Browns.
Yeah,
He twittered.
Yeah.
Twittered, "Go Browns! I've only been in town for 3 days, but you are my team now."
Yeah.
He said that in a tweet. I go, okay, all right.
And he just jumped on the Cleveland train, and that's what you got to do when you go to these teams, even if you didn't grow up in the area, even if you hate it. Like, I don't like the Steelers, but if I'm a baseball player that's well enough and I make the Pirates team, I gotta cheer for the hometown team to do well. You know what I mean? When you're somewhere like, for example, Portland, Oregon, where C.J. McCollum from Canton plays, okay, he can still cheer for the Browns. Portland doesn't have an NFL team, so he still has the Browns to talk about and cheer for. He likes playing out in Portland for the Trailblazers, so he doesn't get his wrist slapped when he cheers for the Browns because, again, there's no team out there. But you got to support the teams. So that's what I know. being in Akron, we know LeBron's past where he grew up a Bulls, a Cowboys, and Yankees fan. When he comes back to Cleveland, he was all for the Browns. He still is, supposedly.
Well,
he was for the Indians when they were going to the World Series. He embraced that.
I mean, there's a lot of Browns fans. A lot of Browns fans. And one of the biggest ones was a young lady. She was wearing a Browns jersey on Saturday on her birthday. Betty White, 99. She was wearing a Browns jersey.
Well, she was in Haunted Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I thought that picture was from there. But
No. She was watching the game on her birthday party and put a Browns jersey on.
Put a Browns jersey on. Oh yeah, we're all over the place.
We're all over the place. Of course, Drew Carey tweeted. LeBron James tweeted.
Condoleezza Rice likes the Cleveland Browns. There, she's been a fan. Her dad.
And if you're a country music fan, Brad Paisley.
Brad Paisley there. I can't think of his name on top of my head, but if you listen to the hard rock band Soil that was there in the 2000s, that guy is from Indiana, but he's a huge Cleveland Browns fan, and he'll talk Browns with you. Sean, I think his name is, but don't quote me on that. I'm trying to remember. Good guy though. I've seen him on stage before and everything, and if you knew the music, he made a big deal about. Like if you're singing along and everything, like he loved that kind of stuff. And
I think this run that the Browns had, and I'm going out baseball again, but the run the Browns had brought a lot of people that maybe wasn't a Browns fan, but they were just so happy to see them there. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. They did say, the NFL reported that after they officially made the playoffs, they said merch sold better than it's ever had around the nation.
Somebody told me, and I don't know if it's true or not, but the Browns game Sunday was one of the highest ratings this whole playoff season.
I believe it. I believe it.
You know, because the Browns-Chiefs game was one of the highest rating watched of all the NFL games.
Right. NFL had struggled with some ratings at some points this year, and I think that game was very hyped because they're like, the Browns made some noise beating the Steelers that first round, and now they're going up against the first overall seed. And
not only beat them once.
Back to back.
Back to back.
When was the last time? I don't think it's ever happened. I don't think it's ever happened because they normally don't play them back to back like that, except if they're in the playoffs. When
was the last time they even won twice in Pittsburgh?
That was 89.
Yeah, they lost 17 straight in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Yeah, they broke the string.
Yeah. So plenty to look forward to. Real quick, we only got a couple minutes before our first break. Our Cavaliers are playing now, and they got a couple new guys in Jared Allen and Taurean Prince, who are playing their former team, the Nets. And by the way, fun fact, this is the first time Kyrie Irving's played against the Cavs since being traded.
Well, he's always been hurt.
He's always been hurt and avoiding a...
He broke his fingernail one time.
Yeah. It is, I think it's halftime 51-4. Hold on. My phone just gave out. I'm sorry, guys. I had it, and we had a technical difficulty. Halftime 51-49. The Cavaliers are ahead. Real quick stats for the Nets. DeAndre Jordan 8 points, 4 rebounds. Kevin Durant 11 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Kyrie Irving 17 points, 1 assist. For the Cavaliers, those are just some of the top play there. Andre Drummond only 7 points, 2 rebounds. Chetty Osman 16 points. Colin Sexton, he's returning 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And then Jared Allen, the new guy, 2 points, 5 rebounds. Taurean Prince, the other new guy, 2 points, 5 rebounds. Darius Garland still out due to injury. This is the first game Sexton's been back in a while. Is Windler playing? I do not think so. Windler, he's almost there. He practiced full yesterday. Kevin Porter's out with modern-day slavery.
What?
Modern day? That's what he said when he got in trouble.
Okay. All righty.
And Kevin Love might be another week or so, but he's almost there too. So help is on the way for the Cavaliers. If they pull this win out tonight, that will be big. They are 6-7 right now, and the point I try to make is since the
would you have thought they'd be 6-7 right
now?
No, I wouldn't.
No, I was very positive going into the season, but this is great. You people got to understand. They're like, okay, 6-7, that's not bad. Whatever. Last stop before we take our break. But by the time we usually get 6 wins since the post LeBron James years, we have 24 losses.
Right.
So Hey, we got to take a quick break, 5-minute break. We will be right back because we want to talk more about the Cavaliers. We want to talk about the Zips, too, and their win yesterday, and everything else coming up. So stay tuned here on PolymerCityRecords.com, 10-cent beer night.
All these blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. All the blues is a lowdown and a shaking chill. Yes, preach it now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Ah, let these blues is a lowdown and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a lowdown and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, oh, I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jumped the devil.
we're back here at PolymerCityRecords.com. 10-cent beer night, the sports show every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time here at Polymer City Records. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
There you go. Thank you, Bob, for coming in. Chris couldn't make it today. Real quick, before we get on to some of our other sports here, we have a couple football games left. We really want to talk about real quick, but basically, me and Bob are going to pick our World Series. Sorry, we're not there yet. We're going to pick our Super Bowl predictions. We will start with what's the first game we have this week? It will be on Sunday at 3:05 p.m. The NFC Championship. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will play the Green Bay Packers, and if Tom Brady,
And that's in Green Bay, right?
that is in Green Bay. If Tom Brady wins this game, this will be, let me do some math real quick. He's lost it, twice the Super Bowl?
He's won 3, 4.
He's won 6.
He's won 6 Super Bowls?
He's tied the Steelers for the lead. The Patriots and Tom Brady have. This will be his 9th Super Bowl attending. Yeah, he's had quite a career.
And you know me, I don't count Brady out.
Right.
Whenever wherever he goes, wherever he's playing, don't count him out.
Right.
He's 41. How old is he now? I know he's older than
He's
Breeze.
like 43.
I think he was older than Breeze.
Breeze officially retired after his last
So does Mickey Rivers.
Philip Rivers.
Philip
Rivers, and what a career he's had too.
438 touchdown passes.
That's great. It's fantastic. You just wonder if they could have done more for him. So he didn't really have much of a playoff run in his career.
That's what a lot of people are saying. He has the stats,
Right.
but he don't have that ring. He never really got to the playoffs. Is that going to keep him out of Hall of Fame?
No, I don't think it's like the Dan Marino situation.
That was brought up on one of the sports shows on radio today, and one guy says he thinks it's going to really affect him. He'll probably be 5 or 6 years after he retires before he gets in. I think possibly he could be a first year.
Me too.
First year guy. But the sad thing about it is, they were saying since he's retired, if Ben retires, which is Ben coming back?
Ben's coming back officially.
He's coming back. So I didn't hear it.
He's coming back officially. Yeah.
I just figured he was so distraught, sitting there crying on the bench.
He doesn't want to end his career on that note. You know that.
What do you mean? He'll go out a winner. He's a winner. I mean, Ben's a winner.
Not right now. He's not. But
No. His career's a winner.
He is. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. They were 12 and 4 or whatever they were. They were
exactly. Well, and the last time Roethlisberger went to a Super Bowl, he lost to the Green Bay Packers. This is the closest the Packers have been since they won it with Mike McCarthy back in 2010, 11, something like that. It's been a while there. So, how are we feeling about this game in Lambeau? Which, by the way, I want to remind people that this Packers team played really well against a very good defensive Rams team, and their Packers defense played much better than they've had all this year.
How do I feel? I don't want to count Brady out. I don't want to count him out, but I'm going to have to go with Green Bay.
You're going to go with Green Bay.
I'm going to have to go with Green Bay. First of all, what's the weather going to be like at Lambeau Field?
It's probably going to be snowy.
You got a Florida team going to Lambeau Field.
All right.
But
Brady can play in the snow, though.
Yeah, with New England, yeah, but I'll have to take Green Bay. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be something like 24-21 in that area.
You think that?
Personally.
There?
Now, I do know that Antonio Brown is day by day.
Yes.
I did hear that today. He had an MRI on the knee. Nothing serious to report. But he is day by day. Tampa did promote linebacker Dion Buchanan to the active roster. So did they have problems at the linebacking core?
They get a little bit beat up. They actually have one of the best in the league, so that's why I just think they're a little bit hurt right now.
It's kind of late in the season, but they also Ken John Barner to return from the injury reserved and signed Nick Levitt to their practice squad.
There you go. So they made some
That's
moves
Tampa
right there.
Bay. So
That's Tampa Bay.
and I didn't hear nothing of Green Bay.
There you go.
Um,
I'm going to go like 35-28. It's going to be a shutout. I'm going to go with Green Bay too. But it's out
Out
of
a shutout. There's only 7
A
points.
shootout.
Oh,
A
I thought it was a
shootout.
shootout. I think it's going to be
Let's go
24-21. I'm thinking of how the weather's going to be in Green Bay. Okay.
both defenses are a little banged up too. And let's see, Tampa Bay's defense isn't bad, but it's not great either. It's the same thing with Green Bay. I'm being biased with this pick. People don't know I have a history agreement because around here you saw a lot of brown and orange before the Sunday's loss. Okay, the second team I saw was Green Bay everywhere. Okay, outside the Browns, and I talked to Green Bay fans because Green Bay was my first love. When I was a little kid, the Browns were gone. They were in Baltimore. They weren't in Cleveland again. Green Bay and Brett Favre is who I liked. Okay, I switched back when the Browns came back, but I always said Green Bay can win as many games in Super Bowls as long as they're not playing the Browns. My biggest fear this year was it was a Green Bay and Cleveland Super Bowl, and a Green Bay fan said that would be Cleveland's luck winning it.
Well, it's like you being a Packer fan because the Browns wasn't here.
Yeah,
Up until the Browns return, I was a Bengals fan.
you were a Bengals fan there.
A reason why I hated Art Modell. I mean, I don't, nothing with what he did to move the team out. That was his right
Right.
to move the team out. I didn't like him because my dad was a Browns fan, became a Dolphins fan when Art Modell fired Paul Brown.
Right.
You know, and so it was like a little personal thing. But I always said, and to everybody, I'll be a Browns fan the day Art Modell get rid of that team. So, but I've seen them lose. I mean, of course, back in Art Modell's days, they were winners. I mean, you know, they won.
But I'm bringing it up because I'm not ruling Brady out, but I just think Rodgers wants another shot at a ring. His time's coming too. He's been here for a while. He wants another ring, and I want to see him get that ring now that the Browns are out. And I think there is a realistic possibility Green Bay can pull this out. It's going to come down to can Mike Pettin do what he can do to shut Tom Brady down. Yes, that's who they're trusting on the defensive side of the ball. That's their D coordinator, former Cleveland Browns head coach Mike Pettin. We'll see. But I mean, it's going to be a great game. Actually, it could be the best game of the weekend between the two, to be honest with you. It's going to be a good one. But I'm pulling for Green Bay here, and I hope we can talk about them in the Super Bowl next week. So we both got Green Bay. We got only one more game to talk about. Usually this is a conversation that lasts an hour, but the 15-3 Buffalo Bills will be taking on the 15-2 Kansas City Chiefs. Pat Mahomes, I am going to say he's going to play. I know he's
going to play. Right now, like I said, he was at practice supposedly today or yesterday. He was at practice, but did not take any snaps or anything like that because he's in the concussion protocol.
Right. And he's somebody that can sit for a bit and still be okay to go.
Personally, I'm rooting for the Bills. All right, because I'll be honest with you, that's our closest hometown team, is Buffalo, right now.
It's very similar to the city of Cleveland, blue collar, that terrible winter weather, always overlooked. I will say I'm very impressed with this Bills team and how
I would love for the game to be in Buffalo.
Right.
You know, but
had the Browns won, it would have been.
Yeah. But no, well, the Browns won. I would have been rooting for the Browns.
Right. But it would have been in Buffalo there.
But I'm feeling for the upset. I know that Kansas City is going to be favored.
Right.
You know, but for the upset, the Bills are playing good.
They are.
You know, they're playing good, and so let's. I'm gonna go 30-27.
30-27. I'm going to go 27-21 the Kansas City Chiefs.
You're looking for the Green Bay Kansas City first Super Bowl. That's what you're looking for.
That's right.
At the 100th anniversary.
101th.
Oh,
it's the 100th was last year. But still, 100 years later, you know. No, realistically, this is why Buffalo is a great team. Their defense is very damn good. They play
officially, it's 55 years later.
Oh, yeah.
Because the first Super Bowl, the 55th Super Bowl. So.
Oh, yeah. It's just that the NFL's 101 years. Yeah, I got my timeline mixed up. He's right to call me on that. Back to the game, okay? Bills defense is the real deal. They shut down the Ravens bad last week. Ravens had some, we were talking about the Browns defense being the factor in their loss. Ravens don't have a perfect offense. They're good, but they're not great like they should be.
Ravens,
and it showed last Saturday.
Ravens got one guy on off. Of course, he didn't really have a great game.
No, he didn't. But he was shut down. That was a big point.
Yeah.
I know the concussion thing with Mahomes, people are like, well, how's he going to play this? That? He's still Patrick Mahomes. He's still a great quarterback. He's still got these great weapons. I think
he's young.
Right.
And he'll be there. He'll be in there.
Right. The thing is, Kansas City's pass defense is pretty solid. Not the best, but not the worst. It's always, they played well against the Browns one. They do that against Josh Allen, and they contain him from running. They got this game, okay? Bills do not have a great running game. Josh Allen is their running game. Hopefully they can find a way to improve that going into the offseason. But I think that's what's going to hurt them here. Is the Bills' defense is going to show up. They're going to do what they can. But the Bills' offense, the passing game, it's going to be there, but not as much as it's been there. You know what I mean? It's going to have a little bit of a downfall game because Kansas City's just better coached on protect against the pass than they are against the run. They do not have a run. Kansas City can find ways to run the ball like they did against Cleveland's always was decent overall against the run. I said decent, not great. And they found a way to run the ball against them. They're going to do that here. I just think that they're going to edge them out. That's what it's going to come down to with this one. But Bills could realistically win it, especially with that defense.
I think the city of Buffalo would love to see their Bills in the Super Bowl.
They deserve to see it.
They've been there 4 times and never won one.
All right, in a row.
I think it was 3 in a row.
Was it 3 in a row?
3 in a row. It might have been 4.
I think it was 4 in a row. Yeah.
But we have to look that up later.
The Bills fan told me, I'll give you a hint who I like. We went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and lost.
I'm not.
I think it was. We can look that up.
Look that up because I don't think it was 4 in a row.
Right now, though, I have Chiefs and he has Bills for the AFC
and I think
one.
the Buffalo they would love to get that one. You know, who was the other team that went to the most Super Bowls without winning? Minnesota Vikings.
That's right. It was 4 in a row. 90, 91, 92, and 93.
Who was the quarterback? Kelly?
Yep. And they love him. I was at the game. This was years ago. It was Bills and Giants for the Hall of Fame game when Kelly was getting inducted. Place was swarming in blue. Everybody from New York, mostly Bills fans and Giants, but there was Giants fans there too, in attendance. When his name got announced, that you would thought you were at a Browns game with the Browns coming out. Like, the place went absolutely nuts, you know. And everything I've heard about the guy, he's a great guy, you know. If the Bills were to go to the Super Bowl, I would say, please do it this year while my Browns are out. So that's my attitude. Hey, if they win, good for them. I'm not down it. This is a team that's been built the past couple of years. They've played their cards right. They've drafted right. They made the other additions to the team right. They got the right quarterback.
On paper, Kansas City is the better team.
Right.
But Buffalo's been playing well, and like I said, they had good drafts. They got some good talent. I'm just hoping Buffalo. I like to see Buffalo in there.
I would too, just for the sake of their fans. You know, it's a similar team.
But we know Kansas City's going to be favored. Same way with Green Bay is going to be favored over Tampa Bay. I didn't get the spots, so usually I give you a spot.
Yeah, there you go. Pulling up the Cleveland Cavaliers update real quick. 75-69 right now in the late in the third quarter.
They leading?
They are leading.
Yeah.
They are leading. Kyrie's got 18 points now for the Nets. Durant's got 15.
How's Harden doing?
Harden has 7 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds. He played real well in their first game, so right now he's a
welcome to the Garden State.
Exactly. 19 points for Osman, 17 for Sexton there. That's 13 now for Drummond. Drummond had a slow first half, but now he's picking it back up. But yeah, if they can win this game, then great. You know. By the way, despite everything we've talked about, the Rashard Higgins helmet to helmet, all these bad incidents that happened, there was no bigger blunder than what happened on ESPN when Paul Pierce told told an early prediction saying the Cleveland Cavaliers would not make the playoffs this year due to lack of defense. They're the second best defense in the league, so there you go. Paul Pierce.
That goes to show you about ESPN.
It goes to show you about Paul Pierce.
And I'm be honest with you, I'm not a big ESPN supporter.
Oh, I'm not. It's not what it used to be.
It's
the
not.
Anchors
It's
and
not
everything.
one. First of all, it's owned by ABC.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna rest my case there, and I don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
So,
but you're right. It's not what it used to be. Just quality sports. That's why when we're here, we just break it down. We don't make any over exaggerate this and that and make hot takes just for views and listens, whatever you want to take it. Because it's just a poor way to go. It's kind of ruined sports talk to make these over exaggerations. All you're doing is getting people mad so they can call in and make your ratings look good and whatnot. And that's a stupid way to do it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm glad me and you and Chris and all, we don't do that here. We give it how we think and we back it up, and that's why there. As far as that's concerned. But yeah, Cleveland Cavaliers, though, second best defensive team, and with all the injuries and everything, they've really held their own. Hopefully, this is the start of something special. And I would say, would I be over exaggerated where we finally are at a time where our three big sports in Cleveland have the right coaches in the right direction, even if it's not necessarily a championship now. Well, for once, the Browns look more favored to win a championship out of the three teams than ever before. Yeah, you know, and
we got some. We got, of course, you got Kevin. Definitely, should be the coach of the year.
Right.
We got probably one of the best managers in baseball in Francona.
Right.
And of course, I don't really know much about the coach with
J.B. Beckerstaff.
Beckerstaff. I mean, I know he was a heck of a good college coach.
Right.
Where was he at in college?
I actually don't remember. I know he was with the Rockets for a bit.
I know. I've heard he was a very good college coach with a good D1 school, but a while back. But
I could look that up right now.
See where he was.
The thing, what impressed me about JB, I will talk about is.
But I think he came out of the college ranks.
I didn't think he did, but let me look up real quick. He's been all NBA.
Has he
Assistant coach for Charlotte Bobcats. Ran the Bobcats for a short period of time.
Okay.
For 3 years. Assistant for
my
Timberwolves.
mistake. My fault.
Here's where I want to talk about this real quick, okay? He was an assistant coach for the Houston Rockets from 2011 to 2015. Mid-2015-16 season, the coach gets fired, okay? I think that was Mike D'Antonio at the time. No, D'Antonio just left, so I take that back. Let me actually, real quick, let me pull up who was the coach there. Was it Kevin? No, it wasn't Kevin McHale. Yes, Kevin McHale was fired. That's who it was. Okay, so Bickerstaff takes over as the Houston Rockets coach. Okay, he leads them to the playoffs. He does real well. They offer him the full-time job, and he tells them no. He goes on to other things. Now, for some people that might surprise us, like, well, why would you tell no? You got to star in James Harden. You did a real good job with the team. He saw, this is my opinion, I don't know the guy personally, he saw what we all just saw from the Houston Rockets the past couple years of this offseason. Like, how embarrassing and insulting is it to be part of that Houston organization and have James Harden treat you the way he did? How their locker room was all drama and trash talk, and they could never pull through to find the way to the finals despite having a very talented team because they were not as united. You had to know, if you're J.B. Bickerstaff, who is a very smart and talented coach, saw that and said, you know what, I proved myself, I don't need to be here anymore. This is just not a win-win situation for me. You know what I mean? So he goes on and he becomes assistant coach in Memphis, and he eventually takes on that team. Team doesn't give him enough time. They don't give him enough on the court either. Cavs interview him to be head coach. He did what Ty Lue did a couple years ago. He didn't get the job, but he signed on to be assistant coach because he got fired from the Grizzlies, so he was a free agent coach. Works out in his favor because John Beilein does not work out. Beilein resigns. Bickerstaff comes in. Bickerstaff has a close relationship with Kevin Stefanski of the Browns, and he's got the same similar attitude where he wants to build a winning environment and a united environment that are coming here to play hard, and that's all you're thinking about is playing your game. That's what I like about.
He's doing the job.
He is.
He's doing the job.
And that's why when Beeline left and he came in, I said, watch things get better. Because this guy has a history of knowing what he's talking about, and he's got more to work with. In Memphis, he did not have an Andre Drummond. He did not have a Kevin Love. He didn't even have a Colin Sexton. Now, they have Jay Morat now, who is an incredible player, who, believe it or not, is probably better than Colin Sexton. But that's not to write off Sexton at all. But had Bickerstaff had what Memphis has now, he could have done more with them. You know what I mean? Just out of fairness there. No, but great coach. I think he is the long-term answer here in Cleveland. I mean, look at how he's played with. I mean, he had all those injuries the past 2 weeks, and they still found ways to win games. That says a lot within itself. So, I do think that Cleveland now has all three teams have a foundation now that they can build, grow, and get better, make a name for themselves. I do know, with saying that, we are facing a very critical time in the Cleveland Indians franchise. Not just as the rebuilding team, but as the name change and the possible direction. That's just being honest with you.
I haven't heard much more about that, about the name change.
Well, I think they want people to focus on the season itself. They did say it's going to be Indians this year.
Well, we know it's going to be Indians this year. But,
yeah. But,
you figured, I don't know.
I think think about it, like...
As long as it ain't the Cleveland baseball team.
No, they've already wrote that off. But I bring up because if you're the Indians, you're the front office, you are going to be open to the public, according to Rob Manfred. And so you want people...
Rob Manfred.
Yeah, Rob. I may have burped and it sounded like Ron, but that's the point. You want people to buy tickets to the game, okay? It's hard to convince people to buy these, by the way, expensive tickets when you keep just talking about changing their name. You know what I mean? Just in that psychology
I understand that.
That logic there, however you want to put it.
But I just, it's like we talked in the one show before.
Right.
They'll always be the Indians to me.
Yeah.
This team right here.
Right. And we'll keep that up too, no matter what. I mean, there's a history there, but it is a little scary for fans. I'm not just saying the name change, but the potential move and everything, the potential sell, I should say, before I jump the gun with move. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we got till the end of 2023.
There you go.
That's when the lease is up at the Progressive Field. I was getting ready to call it Jacobs Park, but
same thing. You know what? People still call it that after. See,
to me, it's always going to be the Jake.
Exactly.
Okay?
People still call it the Jake.
I got a shirt at home that says I was at the Jake.
Yeah. People still call it the Jake. It's been called Progressive Field for how many years? People still call it the Jake. You know what I mean? So we're still have people call them the Indians whenever this is officially decided or whatnot. But we'll see. But again, I'm looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to spring training to see what these guys do.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I just want this COVID to get over with so I can get out and see games.
Exactly.
I'm not just going to a pro game and sitting there having a hot dog and a Coke, okay?
Right.
I'm talking about getting out and see the high school kids and the college kids because, that's last year I seen one game the whole year. The whole year. And it ain't no fun.
If you're a local fan of the Akron Rubber Ducks, a Double-A team of the Cleveland Indians, this team is expected to be loaded this year. If they have, I know some things got mixed around because they didn't play last year, but if they're going to get the players that they're supposed to, including some of what they got back from the Lindor trade, watch out because they'll be fun to watch too as well here in Akron. No, definitely. Will not.
Our Eastern League team, the Ducks, they're gonna be loaded.
Exactly.
They're gonna be loaded.
Pitching and hitting too. I mean, I know I don't know if they'll have Gabriel Reyes, the shortstop they have, the guy with the Padres trade. Tyler Freeman might be an option there. Bo Naylor, Josh Naylor's brother, prospect catcher. They might some of them might be in AAA this year. I don't know. We'll find out. A lot of good pitching prospects. Josh.
Well, we'll
Wolf
see how it is when they come out of spring training because they'll all head to spring training, and about 2 weeks into spring training, then they split off to the minor league camps.
Right.
So we'll know here in a couple, where who's going where and what's whatever.
A guy I want to watch out for too is outfielder Will Benson, who was a first-round pick a few years ago for the Indians. Power hitter. He's expected to be in Akron this year for sure. So it's going to be interesting.
I just read somewhere. Maybe Terry Pluto with the Plain Dealer wrote it. That a couple of teams have approached the Indians about him.
About Benson.
Yeah, about some kind of deal. So because when teams are going after your minor league kids, they're good.
Right.
That's
why I say keep
we're
it
loaded.
Yeah.
We're loaded.
I say stay loaded. Look, we just traded away our superstar shortstop. We might as well just stay loaded to bring the other guys in, give some hope. You know what I mean?
We traded Lindor away this early. Got the number 8 and 9 prospects in the Mets system.
We
got their 8th and 9th prospect. What better to do it now than get nothing later?
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, we knew we wasn't going to keep him.
Right.
There was no way.
I think the only thing.
I think the people most people knew it, and if you're it's baseball's a business.
Right.
I'm not going to I'm taking something for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose you down the line and got nothing out of it.
Right.
So we got a couple young kids. They're going to be committed to the Indians for 3, 4, 5 years. They're 8, 9 prospects. We'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah, we had to see.
And we got some of our own too. We've taken some from the Padres too. Don't forget that. It's going to be very interesting. And again, I'm looking for it because I feel like we had a good season last year. We did our best against the Yankees in the playoffs. They were the better team. We still only played 60 games outside the playoffs. That's a third of the season. About that, I feel robbed of the other 2/3. Like it felt weird starting at the end of July. Yeah, was I glad to see it? Absolutely, but to be told there's not going to be a baseball classic all-star game.
Right.
There's not. You're not going to. You're only going to get a third of your season. Some games might get canceled because the players got the virus, which was understandable. Don't get me wrong, but still, it wasn't a good feeling. You didn't get your fill.
But besides the other sports, football, basketball, there really wasn't a lot of COVID-related incidents during the baseball season.
With some teams there was. Like I know the Cardinals had some issues, and
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It just didn't seem like there was as many.
They kind of kept in that bubble.
NFL seemed like there's 2 or 3 guys each team every week going back and forth,
Well, baseball was in a little mini traveling bubble in a way, and football technically wasn't. So I think that had a hand in it. But hopefully this will be the only and very last time we ever talk about this in our lives. Something like this again. You know what I mean?
I hope you're right.
We can't afford, as people, we can't afford how this was just overall hit. I'm not going to get all political about it, but it did affect our sports teams and everything.
This season was so bad, and I was really contemplating on retiring from the game.
Right.
And then I sat there and I thought about it and I thought about it and I thought about it. I said, I only got to see one game. I seen one kid that I was supposed to see. My whole season was shot. So I ended up re-signing a new contract. So it's simple as that. So.
You did.
Yeah, but this will be my last year. You can take that one to the back. Unless it's a COVID year and I don't get to do nothing either. So,
I really hope not. Cavs up 94-83 with 10 minutes left to go in the game.
94-83, so 11.
Kyrie's got 25 points now. Durant's got 19 for the Cavaliers. 23 points for Osman. Man, has he been playing well of late. 15 for Dotson out of nowhere. The sharpshooter for the Cavaliers dropping some points there. And really helping them out. But other than that, they're playing very good. 8 points for the rookie Okoro. And 8 points for Larry Nance Jr. as well. Not bad. Not bad right now. As I was explaining to Bob earlier, he didn't know about the Kevin Porter news. In case you haven't heard about that story,
I
too.
haven't heard about it.
About Friday night, Kevin Porter rejoined the team for the first time. He's been suspended, a leave of absence from the team till he gets himself together after his off court incidents, including being arrested with possession of a gun and marijuana and whatnot a few months ago back. He's had a lot of issues in his personal life. Cavs just want to make sure he was mentally prepared before going back to the court. So Friday night happens, the game happens. They do win. Okay, that was nice. And then with the COVID thing, we were talking about the COVID and players. Washington didn't have enough players to play, so they rescheduled their back-to-back with them for another time. They were supposed to play Sunday and Monday. So Cavs got all this rest time after playing several games in a small period of time. So it was a nice little break for them to just regroup, rest up a bit, So Friday night's game happens. Sexton, Garland, Windler, and Porter, all the guys drafted the past couple of years, are there on the bench supporting the team, watching them pull out this win. And they enter the locker room where Kevin Porter found out they moved his old locker room to the end where Sexton, Garland, and the other young guys' other lockers were, and they gave Taurean Prince, their new small forward, that locker. And Kevin Porter threw a big fit, and a lot of words came out of his mouth. He started throwing food. Something about Cavaliers players are throwing food because J.R. Smith did it too.
What's the old Ray Charles song? Hit the road, Jack.
Exactly.
Never come back no more.
When general manager Kobe Altman tried to settle him down, he yelled something along the lines of, "This is modern day slavery," and that did it for Altman. And he told him, "Pack your locker up." And they informed the Cleveland Cavaliers after the incident that he would no longer be with the team. They told me he's not allowed at the practice facility. He is on the trade block. They said trade it or cut. And some people are like, well, why don't they just cut him? How much do you give for him? Yeah, understand something too. Especially you were saying business is business. Baseball's a business. So is basketball.
They're all major sports is a business.
Right. This is a kid, even despite everything that happened, is extremely talented. Somebody's going to want to bring him in. And if you cut him and get nothing for which, by the way, what did the Cavs give? Did the Cavs just draft him? No, they didn't. The Detroit Pistons owned the last pick of that draft, the 2019 draft. Yes. The Bucks had the original rights. There was a trade somewhere. The Pistons got him. Okay. Cavs traded 4 second-round picks and $2 million to get Kevin Porter. So they gave up 4 players, 4 rights to players, and $2 million from. That's how much they. And you saw his best game ever.
We was
so
there.
far, where he dropped 31 points on the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat, and how impressive he looked. They said there's an Eastern Conference scout that said the Cavs are hurt inside. They just don't want to put it out in public. He was a special part of their building blocks for the future, and now they have to pull the plug. Enough was enough. They have to protect their own. Right. So the rumor is Cavs. They got a bunch of big men right now. Jared Allen, who will be here long term. Andre Drummond, we don't know his status as far as future team. We like to see him stay. He's an incredible player. JaVale McGee, Kevin Love, and all that. The rumor is they're going to package one of those big men and Kevin Porter in a deal and get something out of him, Right. Porter's name might be on the team for the next couple months. Trade deadline's not until end of March. But that's what's going to happen with Kevin Porter. I don't expect him to get cut, but his time in Cleveland is over.
Hit the road, Jack, and
exactly.
don't come back.
You can't. I get it. He's 20 years old. There's a past there. There's probably stories we don't know. We don't want to know. And I wish him the best, but you can't. There's a line, and at the same time, it's just a locker.
I mean,
the logic and the decision behind the locker.
I just don't understand these pro athletes.
No,
I don't.
He makes almost $2 million.
They make,
20-year-old with money.
I would do anything. I mean, I'd sit. Give me $100,000. I'll sit the bench. I'll bring you the water. Here's the water bottle.
Yeah.
These guys make tons of money, and you're working for somebody. Do your job.
Right.
Do your job. You're under contract with me. Do your job.
Right. We have to take our last break. We'll talk more Cavaliers and Indians and all that fun stuff. We haven't talked Zips yet. We'll talk Zips when we come right back here. Give us about 5 minutes here on 10 Cent Beer Night on PolymerCityRecords.com, and we'll be right back.
All these blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. All the blues is a lowdown and a shaking chill. Yes, preach it now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Ah, let these blues is a lowdown and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a lowdown and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, or I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jumped the devil.
welcome back to our last half hour of the 10-cent beer night show today. I'm Seth, and this is Baseball Bob. And real quick, before we start talking a little more about baseball, the Akron Zips basketball team won a good one too last night.
Won a good one. And I got the scores right here.
Right here.
I got.
They were kind of struggling there for a bit, and now they're picking it back up. They won a couple in a row. They're getting back in their groove. And they're looking much better.
Just keep talking.
Just keep talking while he's looking up for it. I threw a curveball at him. Speaking of baseball,
I wasn't ready.
He's looking.
All right, here we go.
Well, he found. Oh, yeah, he found it.
I found it. The max scores from last night.
Max scores for last night. We'll read them off for our viewers.
All right. First
here.
of all, of course, our University of Akron Zips. 69 Bowling Green Falcons, 57. 57. 69-57. Okay. Akron goes to 6-3 overall, 4-2 in the MAC, where Bowling Green goes to 10-4 and 6-2 in the MAC.
So they're having a good season. You know, Bowling Green's always been kind of a iffy team with basketball, but it looks like they're onto a good start.
Of course, Kent State beats Buffalo 84-81. Kent State goes 7-4, 4-3 in the MAC. Buffalo 5-5, 3-3 in the MAC. Toledo beats Western Michigan. That was a 89-69. I forgot to put the 69 in there. 69 Toledo. Toledo's the number one team in the MAC. They're 12-4 right now, 7-1 in the MAC. Central Michigan 6-8 and 2-5 in the MAC. And Miami of Ohio beat Ball State 81-76. Miami of Ohio 5-4, 2-2 in the MAC, and Ball State 6-6 and 4-3 in the MAC. A rare Thursday night MAC games. MAC games are always played on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Well,
Sometimes Friday.
Yeah,
but for the most part,
but they decided this year because of the COVID issue. If you know, they got a late start, get games in. There are going to be some Thursday night games. Our University of Akron will be home on Thursday night against Central Michigan.
Now they lost to Eastern Michigan recently, which was shocking because Eastern's usually not that good.
Akron has lost 2 games in the MAC that only got 1 win. 2 teams, Eastern Michigan and can't remember the other one. It's here.
Eastern Michigan
and Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois. That would surprise me.
The 2 teams that Akron lost to, and they're both on the bottom. Akron beat the top 3 teams. Toledo, Ball State, and Ohio.
Yeah. Now they beat Bowling Green in Bowling Green.
In Bowling Green.
So that was a good away win there.
And about that. They was talking about that last night, and a guy I listen to in the mornings on sports in the mornings. Akron has a winning record of 24-12 at Bowling Green. They win in Bowling Green. Bowling Green has a winning record at the Jar. They go vice versa at home. So
I'll tell you
what, the Zips are playing. They're playing some good ball. You know, they did beat Kent State. The schedule, if you look at the schedule, they're not playing Kent State this year.
It's
second time.
They're
not playing.
Weird.
And I don't know. Anyway, speaking of MAC games from yesterday, the Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan was postponed because of COVID. At Eastern Michigan, players got COVID, and Ohio and Northern Illinois was proposed yesterday because Northern Illinois had some COVID issues.
So both teams that Zips played recently have COVID, so I hope that they're okay then.
Yeah,
and
okay.
avoiding that there.
But they do play Western Michigan at home on Thursday night, and Central Michigan tomorrow night, Thursday night. And the game is on ESPN Plus. So
there you go. So you can watch that.
Another thing. Ohio State did get beat last night. Lost to Purdue at 95. Was 95-94?
Yeah, they've been a little inconsistent too, winning some good games, but also losing some bad ones.
And they do play Saturday. They got number 5. I think it's number 5 Indiana, or one. It's a Big Ten school. Wisconsin. I didn't really look it up.
Right. Speaking of Ohio State, since we had Chris here last week and we were talking,
And we was talking that we thought it was going to go. You guys were talking about they thought he was going to go, but Myers did sign with Jacksonville.
he is official coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But to add on to that, I was going to say Justin Fields officially declared for the draft, so they're going to lose him too. Their other quarterback is a 5-star recruit, so
yeah,
it might work out. But so is Michigan's, but that doesn't mean anything at the end. So we'll find that out next season. But there you go, just some Ohio State news for you.
Myers leaves the collegiate rank with 187 wins and 32 losses.
Correct there.
At Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, and Ohio State. Right. And he's won 3 national titles, 2 at Florida and 1 at Ohio State. So.
Yep. Outside of that, as far as head coaches search and all that goes, Robert Saleh of the 49ers, defensive coordinator, will coach the New York Jets. And Arthur, the offensive coordinator of the Titans, will leave to coach the Atlanta Falcons. Let me see if we got any more updates on. I don't think we do as far as NFL coaches goes. I'm just glad the Browns aren't in it this time. Philadelphia, they fired their coach. That didn't happen before last show too. They did fire Doug Peterson. It sounds like more drama than anything.
Of course, Jacksonville does have the number 1 pick in the draft. And Urban Myers did say who we pick at quarterback, the quarterback spot, that's going to be the one of the most important decisions I have ever made in my lifetime, along with the partnership of Jacksonville and the general manager. Of course, we all know who they're going to go probably get. Trevor Lawrence, and
Exactly.
of course, Myers has spoken highly of Lawrence in the past.
He wants to coach him. I think that's going to be the pick.
I think that's the reason why he took this.
Exactly.
I really do. So he praised Lawrence in the past a lot. Of course, hey, I do want to my condolences out to the family of L.A. Dodgers legend Don Sutton, who passed away, and the Dodger Blue fans out there. I know Don was a big name out there, and he passed away Monday evening. 23 big league seasons, spent 28 of them, and spent 28 years as a broadcasting booth for the Atlanta Braves. He also did games for ESPN. Sutton was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1998. He had 324 wins total. That's so he's in the 300 club. 233 of those were with the Dodgers. He had 3,574 strikeouts, making him one of the 18 players to reach the 3,000 strikeout plateau. Besides playing for the Dodgers, Sutton also pitched for the Angels, the Brewers, the Astros, and the A's. And in the early 90s, I remember seeing Sutton pitch against the Brewers. So a long time ago.
Dodgers
when he pitched for the Brewers against the Indians. Let's put that
right.
When the Brewers was in the American League.
Dodgers have lost some iconic people within the past couple of weeks.
They lost Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah, it's been a mess, and I feel for them. I mean, they won a World Series, and now they're losing people. It's like it helps the heart. It hurts the heart. You feel for them. My condolences to the LA Dodgers community there. Some great people.
And I've seen a lot of nice posts and stuff about him lately on Facebook. So
good. Real quick to follow up on the NFL head coaching before we talk about the Baseball Hall of Fame, which I want to get to before the show ends today. Other coaches were hired I did not know about, so here's the whole update. Of course, we said Urban Meyer went to Jacksonville Jaguars. We said Robert Saleh of the New York Jets. Brandon Staley, Rams defensive coordinator, will be the new head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. So that's an interesting one. The Chargers going more defensive this time with their quarterback Herbert, which I thought they'd go more like offense, kind of like the Browns did with Stefanski and Mayfield, but they're not. Stanley, hopefully he does well. And I didn't hear about this one. Starting today, the Detroit Lions have hired Saints assistant head coach and tight ends head coach and former Cleveland Brown tight end Dan Campbell is going to be.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, he is going to be the head coach of the Detroit Lions. Now, Browns interviewed him once or twice before for head coach jobs. And there's a lot of teams that said, when is Campbell going to be a head? Because I guess this guy is supposed to be a hot head coach option candidate, however you want to say it. And now it has finally happened. Of course, Arthur Smith also going to the Falcons there. That is the update there. Guys that are still looking at teams, not guys, that are looking for head coach. Houston Texans. They've interviewed quite a few guys, candidates I should say. I know they are looking at Leslie Frazier, Bills defensive coordinator, who is right now preparing for an AFC Championship game. Let me see. There's the Philadelphia Eagles, a name that's been brought up by Browns for years. Josh McDaniels has popped up there.
I'm surprised he ain't somewhere right now.
Well, with him getting caught cheating a couple years ago, that hurt him. And most of the teams that need general manager found a general manager. So we're coming to teams are finally picking their head coaches. And I think the question is Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs, is he going to get overlooked again? And that's going to be very interesting. It'd be cool to see him be a head coach somewhere as well. Real quick, Cavaliers update for you. With 29 seconds left, they are tied at 113.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, they were starting to come back, I noticed. I'm looking, Kyrie and Durant each have 30 points. James Harden's got 17.
Come on, Cavs.
It's a tough team they're playing here.
Oh yeah, New Jersey's tough. With a lot of good veterans they put on that squad now.
20 points for Sexton there. Osman and Drummond haven't added more points. 12 for Tyrion Prince, 15 for Dodson, as mentioned, and then Jared Allen's got 10 points and 9 rebounds. We'll see what happens. I'll give you an update here, but talk about the Baseball Hall of Fame because that's going to be critical.
The Baseball Hall of Fame.
Up.
Voting ends on the 27th of this month, okay? I know Omar is in that mix. Kurt Schilling's in that mix. But anyway, this could be since 2006 that we do not elect one for this year. Now, they're going to have a class because the 2020 class is Derek Jeter, Ted Simmons.
Mariano Rivera, right?
Mariano Rivera, and a couple baseball executives are going to be there was a 2020 class that was canceled because of the COVID virus. But anyway, as of right now, there is nobody that has the 75% vote to get in. Kurt Schilling's at 70 right now, and he was at 72 weeks ago. So he's not getting the votes. I think it's something to do with little career after his career
yeah.
and that he's not getting
Incidents
that.
there.
Omar was at 61%. So I mean, we need Omar. This is his last year eligibility for the 10-year. I mean, he can go in at old timers now.
Mm-hmm.
So he can be on the old time veterans committee next year. I think it's next year because this is ninth year. So the 10th year you go to the old timers committee. So. I'd like to see Omar get in there.
I would like to too, and I'm hoping the news about his ex-wife is not being a factor right now. That's kind of.
I do know that Clemens and Bonds, they're under the 50% mark. Because that's still that steroids thing still holding them back.
It's tough. It really is.
Of course, also going on right now is the NFL Hall of Fame voting.
Right.
And I got that here too, if I can find it.
I know Clay Matthews is close. It's like there.
I had it all. I had everything in order, and I started switching stuff around here. Where you at? There it is. 2021, because they limited it down to the 15 finalists. Supposedly 8 are going to go in. So some of the names on there, of course, Clay Matthews. Of course, Peyton Manning. He'll probably be a first-year pick. Go in.
Calvin Johnson will be. Yeah. John Lynch, who's also currently the GM for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sam Mills.
Richard Seymour for the Patriots. Zach Thomas.
I think when I read this last time, we looked it over last time, there were 30. They limited it down to 15. Yeah. Supposedly they're going to take 6 to 8 of them, so hopefully we can get Clay Matthews in there. I'd like to see Clay in there. That'd be good to have him nominated when Troy Polamalu
And Bill Cowher.
and Bill
there,
Cowher.
yeah.
To go, we can have some Browns jerseys out there.
Exactly.
You know.
Charles Woodson, Jared Allen, Rodney Barber. Man, some of these take me back today. Take me back. I mean, Alan Fancia, Torrey Holt, another great receiver.
Because as of right now, I think, of course, Peyton Manning's on the first year of his ballot, and he's probably definitely going to be a first ballot put in. But the other ones here, Calvin Johnson, wide receiver, the Lions. You remember him?
Yes.
You
Can't forget.
He was a very good football player. But anyway, this vote will be announced the night of the Super Bowl, day of the Super Bowl. So
The day of the Super Bowl.
we'll
We're
know.
looking forward
We'll know
to
who's
it.
going to go in, and the Football Hall of Fame ain't like the Baseball Hall of Fame. Baseball Hall of Fame, you got to get 75% of the vote.
Correct. It's more strict.
It's more stricter. Football Hall of Fame, they'll take 4, 6, 8 people.
Right.
There's always somebody. Sometimes you wonder, they take guys, and we know Polamalu belongs in there, and we know, of course, Bill Cowher probably, he belongs in there. But sometimes they take guys, you wonder, do they belong there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Exactly. Oh no, looking up and down that list is fantastic in every way, and it would be awesome to have Clay Matthews there. He's probably the oldest player of them all, I'm guessing.
Well, let's see. He played from 78 to 93. Of course, then he went to Atlanta from 94 to 96. Yeah, he's the
oldest one.
guy
Most
there.
of these guys I played on Madden back in the day,
Yeah, so-
about 10, 15 years ago.
Well,
So,
we'd
yeah.
like to see Clay Matthews in there, and of course, I think this could be his last year on the ballot.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the old timers ballot.
He goes to the
So-
old timers ballot.
And they, what I was reading is they got a ballot from the 1920 to 1945, then 1945 to 1970.
Damn.
They got so those guys. So they get some old timers in there.
Awesome.
But I just think it's Clay Matthews belongs in there.
He does. He absolutely does.
Did we get a final score yet?
No, there's 1 second left in the fourth quarter. Again, we're not watching him, so I don't know what's happening. It's still tied at 113. There's a chance they could be seeing overtime, but again, they could also be reviewing something as well. You had a fun list of movies for baseball.
Let me. You remember Brian Giles?
Yes.
Well, today's his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Brian
Born in
Giles.
1971.
A guy the Indians should have kept and didn't. That one was kind of...
And of course, Ozzie Guillen of the White Sox All Star. Yeah, it's his birthday also today, and he's 64. And of course, also died on this day is he died on this day in 1997. Curt Flood, and Curt Flood is the reason why we got free agency the way we have it today.
That's what I thought. I recognized that name.
Yeah,
so there you go. You had a fun list of You Are Baseball Bob, a fun list of baseball movies you want to present.
And I had them in order too, and I screwed it up. I screwed this. Oh, sorry, I messed this all up.
So you're allowed to say screw on here.
Oh no, I'm not.
What's Roger going to do? Spank you?
Hey, Roger, you watching? Don't
I
fire
doubt
me.
it.
Don't fire me, Roger. All right. AFI, American Film Institute, put out their list of the top 10 movies, baseball movies
There you go.
of all times. Some of these, I think, I've seen movies that are better per se, but this is what they put out.
Okay.
Number 10, from 1988, Bull Durham.
There you go. The Bull.
With starring Kevin Costner, Tim Robbins, and Susan Sarandon. Number 9 is a very good movie, the story of Jackie Robinson, 42.
Exactly.
2013. 2001, number 8, 61.
Never heard that one, actually.
You never seen that movie?
No.
That was about with Mantle Maris on the chase for 61.
No.
Yeah,
I
you
never
get
saw
a chance. You got to see this. It is a good movie,
gotta see
and
it.
I'm kind
61.
of surprised it is number 8. It ain't
Higher.
higher up. It's Mantle and Roger Maris, the battle for 61, because that was the year that Maris hit 61 home runs in 61, and Mantle has 57, and it was fighting, and nobody wanted Maris to beat Babe Ruth's record of 61. They wanted Mantle to do it
They want Mantle.
because
He's
Mantle
a Yankee.
was Mr. Yankee at the time.
Mr. Yankee, yeah.
So, anyway, number 7. I know this is a movie you like. 1989, Major League.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you like it. Our Cleveland Indians.
Right. I thought the second one was a little better, but I don't think it's made the list, but still a good one. Either
Just a little bit outside.
one. A little bit, yep.
Number 6 was 1993, The Sandlot.
That's a good one.
That's a very good
classic
movie. And this one kind of shocked me. Number 5 from 1992, A League of Its Own.
A League of Their Own. You
Yeah.
thought it'd be a little higher?
I thought it would be lower, but but it's about the All-American Girls Baseball League. That was formed during the World War to replace because a lot of the ball players, went off to the war, and they was brought in the women to hope to place them. Get to go. It lasted for like 10 years. The league itself lasted for 10 years. So. Anyway, number 4 is A Natural. From 1984. Number 3, The Pride of the Yankees from 1942 with Gary Cooper and Teresa. I can't remember her name. Teresa. It's on the tip of my tongue. She was in one of the movies that Professor Psyops plays.
Oh.
I
couldn't tell you. That's
Teresa Wright.
Teresa Wright.
Yeah. I had to. All right, number 2 was from 2011, Moneyball.
Moneyball. That guy still has a job, if I remember correctly. I don't know how. He's made some serious mistakes.
Well, I'm not a big fan of the logistics, and I'm not.
But I will tell you, Dee Podesto, who Jonah Hill plays in that movie, and with the Cleveland Browns now, he's done an incredible job for the Browns.
And then, of course, the number 1 movies that AFI lists.
I'm sure everybody knows it.
Build It. He Will Come. Field of Dreams from 1989. Of course,
What were some of the alternatives there? They had
alternatives, 8 Men Out,
8 Men
which
Out.
I think should have been in the top 10. Personally, I think it was a great movie about the Black Sox scandal of 1919. That came out in 1988. Ray Liotta played Shoeless Joe in that movie. Great movie. Fever Pitch, kind of a chick flick.
Drew Barrymore,
with
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, about a
Boston Red Sox
fan that meets a girl that wants to do things, but he's a season ticket holder. Has never missed a game in Boston.
That's kind of goofy.
Never missed a home game, and he misses Game 7 of the World Series to be with the girl at the end.
I didn't even see it yet. Why would you ruin it?
Oh, I'm sorry. You get a chance. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Funny movie.
What are the other ones?
Bad News Bear.
Old one?
The old one, 1976 with Walter Matthau.
There you go.
Little Big League, 1994. I'll be honest with you, I'd never seen this movie.
I've heard of it. I never
A
saw it.
12-year-old boy becomes the owner-manager of the Minnesota Twins
I saw the end, I think.
after his grandfather leaves the team to him in his will.
Right.
Of course, then the Rookie of the Year, the Jim Morrison story. Jim was a minor league pitcher that hurt his arm, during the minor leagues and stuff like that. Ended up becoming a high school teacher.
No, dude, you're talking the wrong movie. Your Rookie of the Year, 1993, was about the Chicago Cubs kid. I know you're talking. You're talking about Rookie. The Rookie, which I love and should be on that list as an alternative, and it's not. Yeah, that one was from the early 2000s. Dennis Quaid, one of the most underrated Disney movies there ever was.
That was a great movie.
It had the guy that played the kid that played Jake on 2.5 Men played his son.
Yeah,
way back there. But that was nobody. That's why I was interested. Yeah, you're rookie. What he was reading was Rookie of the Year about the same kid that plays the manager and Little Big League plays the Rookie of the Year, I believe. It's one of the kids from American Pie, when he was younger. Not in that movie.
I just seen the rookie there, and I said I thought that
right.
was
No. But you got the year right, 1993 for rookie of the year. But that's why when you start reading, I looked and said, no, that doesn't even fit. Yeah. You had others listed.
These are my tops.
Okay.
All
Read
right.
your tops. We got. By the way, Cavs did go to overtime. They're going to overtime.
My tops. Of course, Field of Dreams is my number one movie of all times. That's number one. My number two movie of all time is Trouble with the Curve, with Clint Eastwood and Amy Adams.
Clint Eastwood directed, right? Or was he in it?
He was in the movie.
Yeah.
He played the old scout that they tried to, everything was logistic. The guy brought a guy logistic. They thought this guy was the greatest thing ever. Eastwood was the old time scouts that used the newspapers, check all the stats and everything like that. And he says that kid is not what those logistics are saying. I can hear it. He had trouble with the curve. He couldn't throw a curveball to save his life. But the logistics says he could. So I mean it's a good movie.
That sounds good. Clint Eastwood usually does.
Fever Pitch, 2005. The Stratton story, Marty Stratton story with Jimmy Stewart and Gene Allison. That was in 1949. That was Marty Stratton was with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was a pitcher. Went on a hunting thing, blew his leg off. Tried to make a comeback with an artificial leg. He was pitching the game. The team started bunting on him. He couldn't get to the ball, and of course he realized his career was over. But that's another good movie you ever get a chance to watch.
That sounds like I never heard that story.
The
That's
Stratton
real.
Story. Yeah, that's a true. It's based on a true story. Yeah. The Pride of St. Louis, 1952. Dizzy Dean, the Dizzy Dean brothers, Dizzy and Daffy Dean. That's about their hit career, and of course, my favorite with who's the guy that played Anthony Perkins and Carl Malden. Fear Strikes Out, 1950, the Jimmy Pearsall story, and he went crazy on the field. When a fan was heckling him, he turned around, started trying to climb up the backstop to get to him, and he hit a home run, ran the bases backwards. He lost it because his dad pressured him, being the best he could be, and he finally blew it.
That's crazy.
That's the Jimmy Pearsall story. Of course, Jimmy ended up becoming a big announcer, broadcaster, radio broadcaster for the Boston Red Sox, and. But those are my favorites. It wasn't on the list, so.
Yeah, it's a great list there, and I'm glad you brought up the rookie.
I seen the rookie there, and I started reading that. I'm saying like 100-yard.
No, that's two different movies.
Yeah,
but still, no.
But I remember. I know the movie. Dennis Quaid played the. Ended up being a high school teacher. Decided he's going to. And he promised. He told his kids that if he would go to a tryout. If they won the districts, which they did, he went to the tryout. Never thought he had a chance here. He's throwing 97-mile-an-hour fastballs. The Tampa Bay signs him, and
he tries it again.
And then he makes it. He finally makes it to the big leagues
at home.
Yeah.
That's it. He lived in Texas. And he got called up.
The Rangers called him up.
No, Rays called him
to play at Arlington.
And that was a big deal. Great story there. My tracker with the Cavs is a little late, so I got a text saying they did lose in overtime. They just fell short. They lost to a good team. They put up a good fight. The friends that were texting me said they played a great game. So one game, they'll be okay. They'll get them next time. You know what I mean? They're just now getting back into the rope of things, and hopefully Darius Garland will come back into it. We are out of time today. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, me and Bob have the Green Bay Packers going to the Super Bowl. I had the Chiefs. He has the Bills. So we'll be talking about Super Bowl next week, whether it's going to be you or Chris.
It'll be Chris.
It'll be Chris. Coming back to play some.
If not, you got to put up with me, all right? You got to put up with me.
We'll put up with baseball, Bob, and we'll play it by ear. Thank you guys again for watching 10 Cent Beer Night here at PolymerCityRecords.com every Wednesday at 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
Go Cavs.
Good night, everybody.
Go night. In Zips.
Go Zips.